Nikolas has just been welcomed as a hero in Belgium. His speech at the European Parliament left Ignacio Alexandre de Moraes and all those people perplexed, frightened. He exposed corruption, the barbarity of Lula's government, and the wickedness of Alexandre de Moraes to the whole world at the European Parliament. I'm going to show you everything here. It's sensational. Brazilians are celebrating with him. Look, the congressman is going through a wonderful phase. I'll show it to you here. Hit the like button. Come be part of our family. Don't forget to subscribe here and leave your comments. In support of all these people who are making a difference, I'll show you here, my friends. Before we start, I want you to take a look at this image here. You see it's me in a dry lease. Look how big my face was. This other video here that I made for TikTok, I made it about 5 or 6 months ago. Look at my double chin. Look at the size of my face. Look how swollen I was. 20 kilos heavier, 20 kilos heavier. Now, I want you to take a look at this other image here. You can see it, guys. Slim Fever, this product here that I advertise on the channel here on our channel is official, okay? It's official. It's the place with the biggest discount because I have a partnership directly with the owner of Slim Fever. Because it was through this little product here that I managed to lose 20 kilos, 20 kilos. I used to weigh 105 kilos. Today I weigh 85. Thanks to Slim Fever. So if you're thinking about going on a diet, we know that at the end of the year, beginning of the year and all, keep in shape. I use Slim Fever myself. It's a little powder, you put it in water, stir it, and it gives you that feeling of fullness, you know? You can lose inches too. If I did it, you can do it, right? It's a great product to fight obesity, for us to lose weight and look good. It's an excellent opportunity. All the results are here, all the results right here. A few months ago, 20 kilos. I am living proof that I managed to lose weight. I made a direct deal with the Slim Fever supplier. You won't find this price anywhere else. Ours is the most affordable online. The link is right below. Don't miss out. Lose weight, get slim, and look great. Your quality of life will improve. The link is just below. Guys, the arrival of Nikolas was marked by a lot of emotion. The congressman is welcomed by people in Europe during his arrival at the European Parliament in Belgium, where he gave the speech. I'll show you the speech here. It was beautiful. Take a look.
Hey guys, thank you. Kisses. How are you? Are you okay?
Look at Nikolas. I'm happy. I'm just tearing up.
See Nikolas.
Mineirinha.
Mineirinha, some people have arrived outside. Cool, right? It's the recognition of someone who works, someone who is honest, who is correct, has integrity, just like this boy is. And when it was time to give the speech in Parliament, guys, oh my God, look at this. Let's take a look here. It was a desperate moment for Lula, huh?
Like a ship to this water.
He is not. He spoke in English and it's being translated here. I'll put it in full screen to make it easier to watch, okay? And so you can read it too. Let's see.
No, a concession guaranteed by the state does not arise from resolutions or administrative permissions. As Frederick Bastiat thought, it was not the law that created freedom. It was freedom that made the law necessary. When this order is reversed, rights cease to be recognized as rights and begin to be treated as favors, and when rights become favors, democracy has already begun to erode. Among all freedoms, freedom of speech is the one that sustains the others. George Washington warned that when it's taken from us, we are led in silence, like sheep, to the slaughter. He was not speaking of a student coup, but of a slow, almost invisible process in which fear replaces courage, and conformity takes the place of debate. It is within this context that Parliament fulfills a central role. It exists to oversee the government, to challenge power, and to represent the polarity of society. Therefore, the freedom of parliamentarians to speak, question, criticize, and denounce must be full and undiluted. When a parliamentarian is silenced, It's not merely an individual who loses a voice, it is the citizen he or she represents. In Brazil, I have experienced this reality firsthand. I was elected federal deputy in 2022 as the country's top vote getter. And it's important to explain this to the international audience. In Brazil, electoral campaigns can consume millions in public funds. Mine did not. It was financed by private donations at an average cost of approximately €1 per vote. The internet, as a free space for the exchange of ideas, was decisive in this process. There, ordinary citizens were able to debate politics without official filters, without state mediation, and without prior authorization. And it was precisely for this reason that the reaction came at the end of that election. My social media accounts were suspended after I requested that the Electoral Court investigate allegations related to the rhetoric voting system. I did not declare fraud, I did not incite violence, I merely requested an investigation. Still, I was censored. It was clear the problem wasn't the content, but the right to question. Later, as a sitting deputy, I was sued for fake news by the then Minister of Human Rights in President Lula's government. After I denounced the government's intention to implement unisex bathrooms in public spaces, including schools, something that was explicitly stated in a public resolution issued by a federal council. Shortly thereafter, the same minister was dismissed following allegations of harassment against another minister. The fact I denounced it remains true. The lawsuit against me did as well. In another episode, I was questioned by the federal police for having called the President of the Republic a thief in a speech delivered at the United Nations. Whether one agrees with me or not, the central question is, can a parliamentarian be criminally investigated for a political opinion when that question no longer has a clear answer? Democracy has already begun to deform. These facts lead us to a recent and revealing. Resolutions or administrative permissions. I published a video. Resolutions. Intention to monitor transactions conducted through PICS, the most widely used instant payment system in the country. The video surpassed 340 million views. This was not merely an impressive number. It was proof that society wants to be heard, wants to participate in the debate, and does not accept measures that, from resolutions, administrative permissions, the Brazilian government reversed course and revoked the revolution, which would have had the supervision of PIX explicitly portrayed. In the face of popular pressure fueled by social media, these episodes are not exceptions. They are part of a broader trend. They try to control public debate through the appealing rhetoric of so-called regulation. And there is an important point here. This process does not affect only parliamentarians. It cascades downward and reaches the most vulnerable. It affects students in schools and universities who learn early on that certain questions must not be asked. It affects teachers who begin to weigh every word out of fear of punishment. It affects pastors, fathers, and mothers, ordinary citizens who feel constant pressure to remain silent, even in the face of absurdity. Because if those who enjoy parliamentary immunity are being persecuted, investigated, and intimidated for their opinions, the message received by the ordinary citizens is simple and brutal. Stay silent, or you will be the next. This is the pedagogy of fear. Recently, I perceived even greater clarity, the strategy of the censors. It is not merely about defeating the right politically, but about killing it while it is alive, pushing it into invisibility, suffocating its presence on social media, and spreading digital fear so that it paralyzes people in real life. Face it this. I made a concrete decision. I decided to launch a movement called Wake Up Brazil. I walked for 7 days, man, covering 155 kilometers from my state, Minas Gerais, to the capital of Brazil, to send a clear message. We exist, we do not. We will not accept being punished, pushed into silence. We will not be stopped, neither on social media nor in the physical world. People were calling me the Brazilian force gap. But it was the best experience of my life. And this was possible because today the internet is the largest public square in the history of humanity. It's where ideas emerge, circulate, are challenged, corrected, and refined. We exist. Freedom, and in Brazil there is. We exist, don't we? The removal of publications considered potentially false or demeaning without a judicial decision. This is not regulation, this is political control of speech. Whenever the state assumes the role of a prior arbiter of truth, debate dies before it even begins. Censorship rarely presents itself as tyranny. It presents itself as care, protection, the fight against hatred, or the fight against disinformation. But the final result is always the same: less freedom, less pluralism, less democracy. Defending freedom of speech does not mean agreeing with everything that is said. It means understanding that truth does not arise from imposed silence, but from the open confrontation of ideas. It means trusting society more than the censored.
That was Nikolas's speech, which took place inside Parliament. I don't live. It has a very strong, heavy, and significant meaning, especially at this moment when we see Brazil going through all these atrocities. He mentioned Lula and the atrocity of the lawsuit he got. He exposed the PIX story, which they claimed was fake news, after the video got 340 million views. He talked about that wonderful walk he did, about the censorship he suffered from the entire judicial system. Here they try to silence people, which is obvious. But from the moment you speak the truth, you bother them, you hurt them, you leave them totally vulnerable. Especially a voice like Nikolas's, which is now being echoed worldwide. Nikolas is simply inside the European Parliament, my friends. And he also spoke here about that guy. I won't say he's a priest. That man over the weekend accused Nikolas of being this, of being that, saying the march wasn't for the good of the people. Isn't it the Conferência Nacional dos Bispos do Brasil? Inside the Church of Aparecida, unfortunately, trying to save Inácio's skin, which is getting harder and harder to save every day. Many Catholics woke up. Nikolas said that what he said,
that your journey was worth nothing. Because you defend death and defend weapons, guys. To be honest, if you can't counter-argue that the moment you see this video, the problem isn't even with this priest. The problem is with you. Either you're lacking intellect or the Bible, or both, right? Because the weapon isn't evil. The evil is the one who uses it. Or do you not remember, right, when Cain killed Abel with a .40? Or when David, right, killed Goliath with a machine gun? In other words, any object can be used for evil. Of course, the weapon amplifies that, but at the same time that it can kill the innocent, it can also protect the innocent, like a military police officer does. Or even protect, I don't know, right? The Pope? Or do you think that those who protect the Pope and his security guards use what? The Bible? Of course not. In other words, there was absolutely nothing left to attack the march. They get outraged by a congressman walking in an orderly, peaceful way. But I've never seen these same people who say that we are politicizing faith. Now, talking about organized crime in our country and mentioning, yes, the weapons that kill innocent people in the hands of criminals, or even accusing, right, the president of the republic who welcomed a drug trafficker, Nikolas Maduro, here in our country, who literally ran tanks over people, or those same progressive priests and pastors, right, with inclusive theology that even allows Satan to speak and criticize, getting bothered about Daniel Ortega, who is in Nicaragua and is also persecuting mainly priests and nuns. In other words, there was absolutely nothing left. Actually, what's left is something for us to reflect on, right? Charles Spurgeon says the following: "Only fools believe that politics and religion shouldn't be discussed. That's why thieves remain in power, and false prophets continue. When preaching,
He called out the priest. He's not a priest. He's not a priest. The guy who defends leftist ideology. And inside the Basilica of Our Lady of Aparecida, my God, the guy can be anything except a father or priest. Digito was there, humiliated. Why doesn't he say anything about Lula? Receiving Nicolas Maduro here in Brazil, a bloodthirsty man, Lula goes to Cuba. With all his partners ending, right? All this clowning, Daniel Ortega, good reminder for Nikolas, nailed it. They are desperate, completely desperate. The success he is having now outside of Brazil. AS. Please share this video in your WhatsApp, Telegram, and Facebook groups and hit like to boost engagement. Join us, subscribe, and enable notifications. You'll get all our video notifications and leave your comments. It's very important. Comment here about everything you've seen. Nicolas's international participation is very important. Look, it was awesome, okay? Big hug. God bless you all. See you next video. Thanks. I'm out. Have to do.